former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, says the PDP's national chairman does not show he is interested in the party's victory in next year's elections. In a statement, quote, Adoke said, "I think he has grudges or scores to settle with the party's candidate, and as such would rather see to his defeat than help him win the election. If otherwise, why is he so determined to destroy the party by dividing rather than uniting it? Atiku should smell the coffee and take charge, so this agent of destruction would not lead him and the party to doom. Wike is not the problem of the party. People should stand up and speak the truth rather than engage in doublespeak and name-calling," end quote.
Well, joining us now for more, Frank Shaibu, who is the Special Assistant to PDP Presidential Candidate Atiku Abubakar on Public Communications, and Arise analyst Dr. Sam Amadi. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us on Newsnight tonight. First, let's start with the Northern Elders Forum, and I'll begin with you, Dr. Sam Amadi. Well, they are saying they are not going to vote, along the lines of ethnic or religious sentiments. Is that even possible? How realistic is that when you hear the Northern Elders Forum make that statement?
Oh, well, first, I just want to hope they mean it, because really, if you listen to the leader, in part of his statement, he alluded to the fact that last time they voted religious and ethnic, and they got burnt badly. So this is why is after the act, and I think they are right. This election shouldn't turn on ethnicity or religion. But for PDP, APC that got a dangerous proposition of a Muslim, the two other parties are diverse and mixed enough so that essentially on paper they cater to the needs of both religion and also the geopolitical divide. So I think religion and ethnicity shouldn't be the decider, because look, if you look at President Buhari's 7 years, it has been 7 years of everybody get knocked. The North is suffering, the Southwest, the South Side, the North Central, everybody, Southeast. So it's about, we are at a point where we need some disruption and reconstruction. And so which of the candidates offers us the best path towards stability but change? Not the change of 2015, but a change that has dimensions. One of those changes is a change around the mode of cooperation of Nigerian people, a change around recreating social capital, trust factor back to governance, a change around bridging the gap of division, and a change also around economic growth. We have been a country that has been rent-seeking, consumption-oriented, prerogative-based, without the framework and the structure and even the culture and norms of what a modern economy is, which is an economy that's non-preferential, non-discriminatory, egalitarian. And so these are the things that should drive the choice of but this ideal. Now the politicians will help to make this real. If they descend, as they are doing now, into politics of fear, politics of manipulation, and politics of scaremongering, then we might see the electorates fall back to a very dangerous and fruitless, hampering after ethnicity and religion.
Well, Mr. Shaibu, when you listen to the Northern Elders Forum, it sounds very ideal that we should move beyond these fault lines that divide us and heighten during election cycles. But your party, the PDP, doesn't seem to have moved on from that. In fact, for those outside who are watching the crisis, they say that's the crux of the matter, because the party decided to go for a northern candidate, your principal, Atiku Abubakar. So would you say your party has moved beyond, the crisis of a northern versus southern candidate? Because when you look at the likes of Wike, governor of your state, Makinde, the governor Autumn from the North Central though, but he's also calling for a southern candidate, and the other governors lining behind Governor Wike. Would you say your party has moved beyond that crisis?
Well, thank you very much. But funnily enough, I think the Northern Elders were only re-echoing the stand of my principal, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, because the main focus of his of his ambition to be president of Nigeria in 2023 is based on the unification of Nigeria, because we have never been as divided as we are today in this country. And he believes that we should use our dynamic diversity as a unifying factor to elect someone of proven character and leadership to steer the affairs of state. So what the Northern Elders did today was just to re-echo the stance of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, and we are excited about their position. We are highly accelerated because that is what we stand for. And taking you up on the issue of the division, your perceived division of the party, and maybe the echoes from the trenches, or what you perceive as some party leaders coming up to talk about this north-south dichotomy and all that. You see, the issue, the problem of this country, it's beyond tribe and region. I've said it times with that number, that hunger does not understand geography. A man who is hungry in Zamfara is the same as a man who is hungry in Ikwere Kingdom in Governor Wike's local government, or even in Makinde's or your state. Hunger is hunger anywhere in the world. And the major determinant of this year's election, that's why I want to commend Professor Sam Amadi. You see, the major determinant for this election in 2023 is hunger and anger. The people are angry. We have never been as divided as we are as a people. So we need someone who has got the capacity to unite Nigerians. We need someone who has got the capacity to restructure our economy, to fix our economy. We need someone who has got the capacity to fix the educational sector, to move us from where we are today to take us to somewhere different. And not forgetting too that in the last 7 years, the story we have received from the APC is that of anger, is that of death, is that of tears, is that of hunger. So, and that is the only credential they have shown the people in 7 years. And whether we like it or not, it is clear and unambiguous, even to those who are deaf and the blind, that our debt profile keep rising on daily basis. And our people are suffering. Nigerians are almost stranded. We are at a point where we can't move forward, neither can we go backwards. So as it is, Nigeria needs that right leader who first off can unite Nigerians. If you remember in 1999, after because of the long stretch of military rule, when President Obasanjo and Atiku came into power, the first thing they moved on to do was to form a government of national unity, because the peace is the first thing to do before you can achieve any reasonable progress in both the economy, in the education sector, and in any other sector. Without peace, you can't do anything. As you see here, we have cried enough. Nigerians have cried enough. And whether you like it or not, you see, no matter, even if the eyes cannot carry the load, the head carries the load, but the eyes can determine the weight of the load that the head is about to carry. And Nigerians know what it is. They are tired. They want to move forward. And
okay, Nigerians want to move forward. Well, the North is also saying they want a leader who has integrity, competence, compassion, the fear of God, and on and on and on. Dr. Sam Amadi, do we have these politicians? I mean, are they not the ones who have continuously whipped up religious and ethnic sentiments when it is convenient for them? Would you say, really, that Nigerians really have come full circle in terms of not allowing this, base sentiments to drive how they behave at the ballot box? Have we really matured enough to decide that, look, it's about the issues?
I think first, the poor people who are rural voters, if you like, the women who vote most in this country, local mothers and fathers, now the young people who are coming up. We are demobilized. We've lost agency. The politicians have weaponized poverty, unemployment, despondence, so that people are no longer capable of exercising agency. And so you're going to see, during the right down to the election, bribe them, money back, money for vote and all that. Now, the media, the civil society, and all of us who are elites, intellectuals, are the ones who have a responsibility to fight back against this weaponization and help the people of Nigeria recover their agency, to say, look, we know that we are worse off. The last 7 years have been 7 years of disaster and tragedy for us. But we want to elect somebody who has the competence. The northern leaders were right in choice of words, because you're going to deal with problems. You have the credibility to stimulate civic support for this work of salvation of the country. It would be an easy work. So you don't want somebody who has to be dealing with credibility crisis, someone who has to be dealing with issues around whether he's inspiring, and that's really what this election is all about. It's going to be about trust for the status quo and expectation for the new. If you watch the debate going on, the younger people seem to be signing up against the system. Now, what I expect PDP and APC to do is to bring back a messaging to tell these young people that, look, we all recognize the urgency of change, and we can provide it. And we can provide it by showing you policy, number one, showing you personnel. People who are going to be talking to these voters must be people who inspire confidence. And so,
yeah, but are you hearing that?
Let me be fair and straightforward. The only is P2B actually, and that's factual, who is providing a distinctive message. Now, whether the argument against him is, does he have the experience, the capacity, the policy framing to address it? APC is running on a mixture of, for example, Yoruba Roni in some aspect, wake up is our turn. In some areas, hacking to fear of IPOB and the Igbo fear, and PDP.
While Atiku, on the other hand,
PDP is
he'll come up with a government of national unity,
which is a new thing, which makes sense. I mean, the government of national unity has been my view in the primary. I call it shared power concept. And by the way, back to Shaibu, Nigeria don't need to be ethnic or religious, but we recognize that from the days of C.S. Lewis, 1957, during the First Republic, the argument has been that when you want to run a plural society, you have to share power. You have to create a sense of belonging. And so I think that message is good, but we should move forward now and tell Nigerian people, how do you want to deal with this trap of a status quo that is corrupt, that is not amenable to sensitivity to the people, that has not delivered the level of good in the last 7 years? How are you going to recreate this social trust? So I want to see more positive messaging from the established party, because they are the ones that are more likely, going by precedent. They are front runners, and the new party, especially P2B, is breaking into that group. But essentially, if only hear Labour Party talking about the future and about positives, then it means that the elections are not going to be, because one is outsider as to today, but likely to break into the front. Yeah,
we are eagerly waiting for the official flag off of the campaign, September 28th. We cannot wait to hear the messages the political parties are going to be pushing. Frank Shaibu, did I hear you say my perceived crisis of the PDP? Apart from perhaps the founding chairman of your party, Chief Solomon, last tenure, the PDP has had an infamous record of party chairmen in controversial reigns and living unceremoniously. And it does look like your Chayu is on the hot seat again, which calls for him to resign 26 days to the official flag of the campaign and 176 days to the election. So it's not perceived. Children who were not there when the party was formed versus those who defected and rejoined the party. That's the language we're hearing from your party members. So it's not perceived. This is real.
Yes, before we allow Frank Shaibu respond to that, let's hear what Wike, the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, had to say about the IU issue.
Dr. You said we're children. Yes, the children brought you to be chairman of the party. The children brought you from the gutter. The children brought you from the what? Gutter. To make you chairman, it is the children. You were impeached as Senate President. You were sacked by Obasanjo in his administration 2 times because of simple money from the primaries we made, about 14 billion. That is why I will resign. Nothing more, it's just 14 billion in the account to nothing. Let me preside over the expenditure. That's all. Integrity matters in life.
There you have it. Frank Shaibu, how do you react now?
I'll tell you that if money were placed on trees, with profound respect to you, some people will even marry monkeys, But that notwithstanding, there is a language that befits the office of a governor, office of a president. You understand? And And I'll leave that. I'll stop there. But most critically, just as he said, PDP is our party, and whether the cock crows or not, the sun will rise. Atiku will be president in 2023. You see, the issue here is a matter of interest. PDP is not a pressure group. It is a political party. And you see, you are bound to find, interest. And most persons, if you see the body language of the last speaker on your channel, you will know that, of course, he had an ambition. A bitter heart is not capable of charity. You don't expect him to be charitable with words. You understand? Though I expect some level of decorum. You understand? But I won't question his choice of words and all that. But I'll tell you most critically that, look, he was in that race. The primary election was won fair and square. None of the aspirants complained about the fact that Ayu was national chairman of the party at the time all the aspirants went into the race to contest the presidential ticket of the PDP. We had a national chairman of the party in the person of Uche Secondos. He was from the South, particularly from Rivers State at that time. And of course, a lot of political underpinnings, which basically is part of democracy, took place and the man left. But you see, you must place, I need to correct something. You said, look, apart from Solomon La, we have never had, our party chairman have left unceremoniously. That's not correct. It's not limited to the PDP. We have had so many cases in other parties. You know that of Oshomole, you know that of the person was there. So it is not that, but you have to understand too that maybe if you were around at, before now, you know that is the character of political parties, particularly in this part of the world. But that notwithstanding, the issue is this: are we ready? Is Atiku Abubakar ready to lead the charge? Of course. Is he out there with the right message? The answer is yes. He is there with the right message. He remains the only candidate who is not just prepared, but very prepared. Let
me comment very quickly. Very, very quickly. Is Atiku at his wit's end on this Ayu Wike rift as it deepens? And exactly what is Atiku willing to give? How much ground is he willing to give in a way that he will not look weak in the presence of Wike's demands?
Well, I'm not even aware of Wike's demands. But the issue is demands. You see, the demands of Governor Wike,
as chairman, part of it is that you should step down.
The demands of Governor Wike is not even within the prerogative of Atiku to take a position. It has to be. It's a matter that has to be dealt with at the level of the National Working Committee of the party. So Atiku is only presidential candidate of the party. But I said something, and I need you to take it home, take it away, that whether the cock crows or not, the sun must rise. So whatever happens, head or tail, it does not affect the chances of Atiku Abubakar in 2023.
It's interesting we're talking about the PDP, but you dragged in the APC political parties in Nigeria.
I didn't.
Great. We have to go.
Dr. Sam.
Amadi, is this really a Wike problem? At a point, it looked like it was Wike versus Atiku. Now it looks like a Wike versus Ayu. And is Wike really alone, or is it because he's the one speaking the most?
In two ways. I think he's alone in the sense that he's the one whose grievance, sense of grief, and his importance in the party is sustaining this rift. So all the people who are behind Wike are supporters, but they have a shared understanding that Wike also wants his people to be in. Let's say, for example, the issue around the chairman. Is the problem with this discussion with Wike and the party or with the candidate is that it's like a win-lose situation. It's difficult. Yeah. What will teach us is strategy. For you to solve this kind of problem, you have to expand the pie. Who gets what. Now, if you want Ayu to leave, it's like win-lose. Ayu is not going to leave because whether it's the 16 billion, which I don't think is true, he needs to be there. Again, if he leaves, it might actually cause the problem crisis to the party. Think about the NWC. You're going to you're going to kind of NWC. You're going to flip all. The secretary will have to leave office because he's going to go to the south. So I think what they should do at this point.
Yeah, but can the PDP move on without Wike?
Sure. What they can do is that, look, if they exhaust the possibility of closing down the rift, the candidate may announce his campaign team. He's not doing that. He may announce his team and move on and then sign off that, look, we have lost this very important member of our party. Now, there are costs and benefits. If you continue with this attrition, I mean, imagine you're on a campaign, and everything you hear about the candidate and the chairman of the party is they're not trustworthy, they're not reliable. The messaging is dangerous and negative. Again, like I said here before, that if PDP was strong enough, they probably would have sanctioned the governor of Rivers State. Because, yes, he's aggrieved. Yes, there may be some bad dealings here. But look, the ultimate work against a party is to demarcate the candidate and demarcate the party leadership. At the time you are facing, look, let's face it, the Obi movement is a strong fight. It's a strong movement that could win. PDP needs to be at its best to navigate APC in power, even though they failed largely to govern well and therefore has a lot of discredit. But again, you have a strong candidate, seemingly with Tinubu, that has a base. You have an Obi that is moving, gliding through the north-south, north-central, south-south, southeast. The party needs to come together. And so what I see is decade of PDP loss of institutional competence and capability. So those in charge are both, yes, institutional competence and capability. A political party should be such that they can transcend. There's too much of enclaves and self-agenda militated against a collective interest. Okay. This is not about Atiku, but about a party that has suffered coherence and stability and original capital for a long time.
Well said. Frank Shaibu, here we have time for one very quick question and response. Is your principal worried over these recent statements between the chairman and Governor Wike of Rivers State? We do hear reconciliation is ongoing, but do these statements derail such efforts? Or is there no reconciliation at all in the world?
You see, the truth is this. Atiku is a Pan-African candidate. He's a Pan-Nigerian candidate. And he's not going to be president of the PDP. He's going to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. While the rift is going on, or whatever it is called, he is busy marketing his credentials, marketing what he has got to offer, telling the people of Nigeria, I'm going to change the narrative in terms of security. I am going to send the students back to school. During my time, I will form a government of national unity. I will unify Nigerians. And that is the messaging. The messaging is clear and unambiguous. And that is what he is busy doing at the moment. We're going to put food on your table. We're going to rejig the economy. We're going to get the right team to work with us. And we're going to change the narrative, particularly in the issue of education. You cannot fight insecurity without education. If you look at it, ASU has been on strike.
Exactly. Not yet campaign time. Frank Shaibu, thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. And Dr. Sam Amadi, it's been a delight, as always. Do stay with us. There's more to come on Newsnight.